This is a blog called Founder Talent, where we look at different applications and the people behind them. Hopefully we can talk to some of the CEOs of these apps, these newly created applications. We will look at marketplace applications, all the way to ERP systems and productivity tools, things that you use from the app stores in Android as well as iPhone. The first app we're going to look at is called The Good Neighbor app, and it's a Canadian tool sharing site, tool sharing marketplace. It's developed by David Thiessen, and it last updated in June 27th, 2020. It has sort of fairly good reviews, 3.9. I do like looking at some of the bad reviews. If I there's quite a few comments about the inefficiencies in the marketplace because it's not large enough. You'll see that with smaller apps when they first start out, the marketplace doesn't allow the smooth operation between buyer and seller. In terms of rating, the critical ratings are usually quite funny. Some of them are really out there in terms of have they even used the app. So this app doesn't work if people don't reply to you when you're trying to rent the tool. That's fine. That's the sort of complaint that you'd get with a small marketplace. Good idea. How does it warranty that I will get my tool back after giving it to a stranger? So that's a valid concern in marketplaces where you're sharing your apartment or your tools out, is that you don't know how the customer is going to treat the tool. Too strict on the password, so deleted. Some critical reviews, and now we'll have a look at the application. The Good Neighbor app, when you log in, you're immediately brought to this search tool, and some of the things that you can rent out from people's houses are 12-inch miter saws, saws, drills, vacuums, leaf blowers, engine leveler, things that are actually really suitable for rental because you wouldn't want to purchase that at a store. The items, you can get a 140 horsepower lawnmower, so you could be the lawnmower man of the century with that thing. It's they're usually 50 cc motors. You can get a floor jack. You can get a generator. Those are just really useful. You wouldn't want to buy an $800 generator. You would rather rent it for $30. So if we select the tool here, it'll show you the rental cost. It's $86 per day to rent, and it costs $2,250 new. Gives you location, and there's also some choice as to when you pick it up. There's discount for choosing a week. You get a multi-day discount of $200 off. There's repair protection, etc. Then you send the rental request, and it pops up with your credit card, and you pay immediately. So these marketplace applications generally have purchase protection for the seller. They generally have a way of locating the product that's for rent, usually with a map. And you'll know that with Uber, the map is a main part of the application. They will have discounts per day. They'll use a payment system, Stripe usually, and they'll have communication between the buyer and the seller using a chat tool. So if you go to the Home app, if you go to the Home tab, you'll see that you can search for a tool, you can add your own tool, you can see bulletin boards, and then you can post it on a job board. So they've added additional tools and features to the application. That's quite common in marketplaces, as they find new revenue streams and they add more features. To add the tool, I've already added two. A tape measure, you can rent out a tape measure for 38 cents per day. Then you can go to messages, communicate with the seller, and then arrange a time to pick up the tool. You can see some analytics here, the tools that you lent out and the tools that you borrowed. And coming to analytics, which is the data in these applications, is almost more important than the application themselves. For example, you could find out what are the most highly used tools in specific areas, and you could sell that on to another company that sells tools in those areas. You can make the entire marketplace more efficient when you delve into the data and find out what is the usage of these tools. So in essence, that's really the underlying power of marketplaces. There was a case, for example, with Uber where they published where people were at night, where they were meeting dates at night, for example. That was quite funny. So this Good Neighbor app is a very decent tool. It has some small glitches. It looks like it was developed out of house. In other words, they got developers to do the work, the template type of development. I can only guess about that, but I would say overall, the Good Neighbor app is a really great way to reduce your reliance on hauling around the tools for the rest of your life. You have a drill that you have to deal with. It's much better to rent it for a short period of time, particularly if you're only going to be using it 4 or 5 times a year. So definitely, I really enjoyed using this. We'll see if I can rent out the tape measure, and we'll look at some other apps next time.